I'm gonna start
All
in
right.
five, four, three. Hey there, everybody! This is the Geeks For Hire podcast. I'm Josh,
And I'm Kyle.
and we're gonna start off with the top five big news headlines for the past week or so. We've been trying to get this out for a little while, but we're having some technical difficulties. So some of this may be a little older news, but we wanted to cover it either way because a lot of this is important still. Number one on the list, straight out, is the loss of two great men of their industries, Christopher Lee and Dusty Rhodes, passing over the past week.
Both in opposite ends of the entertainment spectrum, but both entertainers, no doubt. Christopher Lee is a huge influence on the Universal monster horror genre, an influence on bringing Lord of the Rings to the movies, and that was a lot of people's first exposure to the Lord of the Rings. And
Yeah.
I know he wanted to play Gandalf, but him doing Saruman was just amazing. Count Dooku in Star Wars. There is literally no facet that he didn't touch in terms of geek culture. It's hard for me to talk about it still. I'm a little sore. Not because death is a bad thing, but just because it's hard to believe that, the world's going to continue on without him and his great influence, because it's just something you don't think about. I mean, in The Hobbit, the man was acting past his 90s, and
Yeah.
just what a huge, amazing influence. And no one will ever be able to replace him. So to Sir Christopher Lee, thank you for all you've done. As far as Dusty Rhodes goes, he was a great wrestling entertainer.
Yeah. I'm.
Probably he's more behind the scenes even after his time before Hulk
Yeah.
Hogan.
It's one of those things where Dusty Rhodes was a character where when you really think about it, taking aside the backstage stuff, because Dusty Rhodes was a fantastic backstage booker and promoter. There's a lot of things that he did that even to this day they still refer to. Um, the infamous Dusty finishes. But I mean, he's the guy who came out in a black one piece with yellow polka dots and got people cheering for him like crazy. He was Hulk Hogan for Hulk Hogan. Um, I mean, there's not much more you can say. The man was a legend in his industry. It's really depressing to know that both guys passed on the exact same day. Totally, like you said, totally different ends of the entertainment spectrum. But
Both
yeah,
entertainers nonetheless. Yep.
yes. So moving from less somber news, the next biggest piece of news is Steam Summer Sales going on. If you have a PC, you should be checking these out. I mean, let's be real. It's bad enough that our third piece is E3, and we're getting all this great video game news. We should have some updated videos on that soon. Um, but the Steam Summer Sale is insane. I mean, Kyle,
Yeah, we
yeah.
all know about, the Steam Summer Sale. A few things I would touch on that has been on sale. The Wolf Among Us from the Telltale series.
Mm-hmm.
Great game. You can get it for around $6, I believe, right now. So I don't know what price it will be when this is over, but it will still be on sale regardless when this is uploaded, I'm sure. If it's worth $10 or under, I mean, it's worth the full 30, but if you can get it for 10, it's a steal.
Yeah.
Um, it
I mean,
follows the Fables comics line, and this is a prequel, and it's actually canon to the comics, which is just seriously impressive because most games wouldn't do that in terms of the comic lore. It would be like making Lego Batman canon. It's like that doesn't really happen, you know?
you didn't know that's part of the new the new DC multiverse, the
Yeah,
Legoverse.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's just really cool. I got Gauntlet for $5, snagged
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah. I was like,
and the new Duck game I am playing. My
oh,
friend Chris bought it for me, and it's just a fun little multiplayer platformer. I mean, it's really dumb, but it's really fun.
yeah, I'm telling everybody, if you don't already own Civilization 5, you can get everything for $12.
Yeah,
Like
that
they
is a steal.
yeah, they're there's no reason to not own it. It's that good of a game. Um Continuing on, Kickstarter, there's a lot of big games and that are going through. Ukulele just finished with 2.5 million. Bloodstained finished with
Ritual of the Night 5.5.
5.5 million. This one's little bit more just in, but Shenmue 3 asked for 2 million and got it in one day. Shenmue 3 actually beat everyone's record so far.
Well, Shinmu has been asked by the fans. I mean, that's
since Shen
Dreamcast
since
days.
Shenmue 2.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Like, yeah,
You'll see Rio on occasion in like Sega Sonic All Stars Racing. He's even a character in that, and like he
yeah,
hasn't had a game since like the
yeah.
Dreamcast days.
I mean,
So
I was legit expecting Shenmue to be like a character in Smash Brothers or something.
yeah, which
Like instead of
Ryu,
Ryu, yeah, instead
Ryu
of
and
Ryu,
Roy, which
yeah,
we need to touch on actually. So I
yeah,
guess we can
yeah,
touch on it real quick.
yeah.
Ryu,
Well, let me say it first out. I'm gonna eat my words. I said very clearly that Ryu would not be in the game. I gave pretty clear, concise reasons. Ryu's
and
in the game.
I just played him today on Ryu's level.
He's. I put him probably as one of the top like 5 characters. He's insanely strong.
Yeah, he's really fun. And actually, for some people who don't know, you can actually enter the Street Fighter inputs, and the moves come out and deal more damage.
Yeah,
If you put in
yeah,
the Shoryuken and the Hadouken and
yeah.
the
You can do the Tatsumaki, but it's really hard because of his half circle move.
yeah, but
Um,
yeah, he's really strong. He's really
he's
fun.
really strong.
He looks out of place a bit, but I mean,
It's
but
honestly, it's like seeing Captain Falcon for the first time. Like
yeah,
Captain Falcon looks really out of place in comparison to everybody else. And I mean, now he's almost over the top cartoony, but like Ryu looks like a normal dude who, and he like comes out of the shadows like, training, and I'm
yeah.
like,
And Roy is just a slower but feels more powerful Marth. So as expected, I mean,
and
it's just like an anime.
he has no A combo. He's the only character in the game with no A combo. He just goes and like
It's
sword uppers you.
But people wanted him, and I mean now that's 5 characters: Lucina, Marth, Ike, Roy, and Robin.
Yeah.
So no more Fire Emblem guys. I mean, I understand you're Fire Emblem fans. I like Fire Emblem too, but the
Where's
fact that
Crom?
well, I mean the fact that
I
Fire Emblem is like catching up to the amount of Mario characters in a Smash game
yeah,
is
insane.
bizarre.
It makes sense because they're easy to translate. I think.
Oh, and
Um,
it's the fan base, and Fire Emblem is picking up in America now, which I'm happy about. But like,
yeah,
I was fine with the characters we had. I mean, I'm glad that people who wanted them get them now. But
yeah. I mean, Roy, I kind of forgive because Roy was in it once.
yeah, I like Roy actually.
Um,
I'm fine
I,
with it.
the Miiverse level though is I like the Miiverse level. It's just dumb enough. And when you
So
win, you get to write off your own thing. So like, if I win with Donkey Kong, I can be like, don't bong the dong or something. I don't know.
Dong expand.
No, everybody does that one. My favorite one is like
Pound.
spray your coconut cream.
Okay. All
I,
right.
I was like,
Moving on. This
but
is enough.
it's got like the Donkey Kong ray face, like the, and I'm like, well played, internet. Um, fifth bit of news: Baron Mordo apparently is all but confirmed as the villain for the new Doctor Strange movie.
um.
I mean, it makes
Absolutely.
sense. Just
Yeah.
yeah, I
I,
mean, like it.
it's gonna be him or Dormammu. Like.
And honestly, I don't want Dormammu because I want Dormammu to come up in like the Defenders, like a more Dormammu's a big villain. He's basically like number 2 in hell.
Yeah, he
Um,
constantly is at ends with Doctor Strange and even Ghost Rider.
yeah,
Him and
which
Ghost Rider go at.
yeah, we'll touch on all that later. But like the fact that Baron Mordo is all but confirmed now, that also kind of gives us an idea as to what the Doctor Strange movie is going to be doing, which I kind of like
Origin
that.
story.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
He, for those who don't know, Baron Mordo was to be the Sorcerer Supreme before
mhm.
Stephen Strange ended up coming along and obviously being good-hearted and yada yada. He gets
Yeah.
the role over
The,
Baron Mordo.
the best way to describe it is the whole this is what Doctor Strange would have been if he was evil.
Yep, that's literally the
Yeah.
character.
And,
So
because
it
him
should be fun.
yeah, like I said, and Baron Mordo is he does have very Mandarin like qualities,
Absolutely.
but he's not
Green robes
Mandarin
and
at
everything.
all.
Absolutely.
Um and I'm really like I like the fact that that's who they're going with. Because that makes the most sense to me. And that way they're also not going way too far off of like the canon. I don't mind them exploring different ways of doing things. I don't like it when they're like balls deep in it. Like, we're just gonna change everything. Fuck it. The Sinister Six can be some weird Oscorp thing. That
Yeah.
makes sense. And I'm like, no, they're all like relatively goody villains on their own who are like, when we work together, we're like a super villain. Yeah. And that was
Yeah.
why they were cool.
Absolutely.
So going from comic book movies to comic books, we're gonna go over the 5 big comics to read this week. This week, every Wednesday they've got new comics coming out. So
Wednesday is comic day for people who don't know.
Yeah, like basically,
Wednesday's literally comic day.
if I remember correctly, it is Tuesday is movies and video games, Wednesday is comics, and Friday is Nintendo games.
Well,
I know there's something else on Thursdays. I want to say it's TV is Thursdays, like all the best TV is on Thursday or the weekend.
something
Or
like
if you're
that.
like me, it's on the internet, so it doesn't matter. I don't have cable.
So let's talk about
Yeah.
comics.
So, this is in no particular order. We just basically we picked five, and these ones are all these are ones you should consider picking up. First one we had on the list was Old Man Logan #2. I read Old Man Logan 1, and I'm really liking the direction they're going with it.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, for those who don't know, Old Man Logan was an already written series, which is fantastic.
yeah.
Basically, villains take over
Well,
America. Hulk has a whole inbred family. It's really gruesome and gritty, but
it's weird, and I like that.
yeah, and Hawkeye's blind now. For those who like Hawkeye, he's blind. He's dealing with that, and
Yeah. Well,
Wolverine is just old now, and he's a farmer, and he just wants to be left alone. But when Hulk's clan comes and kills his family, Wolverine can't let that go. And honestly, since Wolverine's first appearance, him and Hulk have been going at it. I mean,
yeah. I
Wolverine's
mean,
first appearance was literally fighting the Hulk. Like,
yeah, I mean, so
so
it's a bit fitting in that aspect. The other thing is this: is that as everybody knows, in the main Marvel continuity, the 616 universe, um, Logan's dead.
yep,
So
Wolverine
with
is dead.
Battle World, they're combining a lot of things, and they're really the whole thing about the whole Battle World story that they're doing, the Secret Wars. Marvel is condensing everything. They're basically saying, well, yeah, there's a fuck ton of Wolverines, but now only one's alive.
Right.
I mean, and that'll probably go into later where there'll be multiple Wolverines, but that'll be later things that they can deal with later. They're simplifying it. Also, they're it's very clear they're making moves to make the movies more accurate. What's his name? Who plays Wolverine in the X-Men movies? He's
Hugh
the only
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. The
My
only
man
character who
crush.
yeah, the only one who is I think properly casted from the get-go. Everybody else like grew on me, but like that I was like Wolverine.
Well, ironic thing is Wolverine is short and stocky, and Hugh Jackman is not that by any
But
means,
but
but
he
he's
but
so good.
but it's like the way they have him in it. He
Yeah, he
looks
looks
it
fine. He's great.
like it. I'm just like, man, if only I was a little bit more ripped and hairy.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Fox Marvel movies, but Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, I will always approve of.
Exactly. Now that being said, he's getting older. Cough, cough, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Old man Logan is the Logan they decided to go with. There's reasons for everything they're doing. Um, that and they're pushing for Wolverine apparently to be X-23.
Yeah, that's been in the works for a bit.
So,
Well,
Old Man Logan's supposed to train her. And like I said, I don't know all the details behind Old Man Logan 2. I've a lot of the times for like the #2, if I'm really into #1, I try to read as little as possible into that. But
yeah,
there are certain things that they Marvel and DC spoil shit all the time. Like I already know who the next set of Avengers are, so
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
If
Um,
you're trying to get into a new series, I would recommend at least reading up to 3 issues before you judge it. If you really
exactly.
liked the first issue, then yeah, follow up. If you
Yeah, I
didn't,
mean that.
don't worry about it. But if you come across it and you can read it in the store real quick or whatnot, and you like it,
Mhm,
pick it up. If
yeah.
not, don't worry about it.
That's what I do with Grayson. I thought I'd hate Grayson, considering that they basically said Nightwing is no longer Nightwing, and I'm like,
Yeah, but Grayson's really good.
it was.
Yeah,
I liked it a
yeah,
lot.
he's like James Bond, guys.
Yeah, Agent 42 or whatever, and I was like,
Yeah,
hey. Yeah.
and Spiral. Yep. But
Yeah.
anyways,
So moving on, we've got the very first issue of Robin, Son of Batman. Now Kyle's got a really good video on Robin coming up soon. It does touch on Damian, which is this one who it's starring.
actually, ironically, this goes right into what I mentioned in Damien in my upcoming Robin video.
I
I
say,
do mention the last Robin, Damian Wayne, and he does end up dying and coming back. And this actually picks up right where I left off on the
yep.
summary of my Robin video.
So
So make
yeah,
sure to check that out.
yeah. Without giving spoiling too much into it, Robin, Son of Batman is really looking to sort of redefine Damian as a strong individual character.
And he's a great character,
Yeah,
guys.
he really is. It was the only Robin where I was like, huh, okay. Like I expected it, but didn't expect it. You know?
And Robin truly got his first series with the third Robin, and that's where
Yeah, like if we're
the
being real,
actual Robin comic series
because
literally didn't
yeah,
exist until Tim
because
Drake.
because of Nightfall with the whole
Exactly.
crosses us.
And so now I'm excited to see another Robin original series, but following the current Robin,
And,
Damian.
and especially with how the DCNU, the New 52 like storylines have gone, where Tim Drake is not Robin ever. He decides I'm going to go by Red Robin from the get go,
Yeah, I
which
will
adds
touch
a
on
yeah.
that in an origin video. So
Yeah, but like I said, but lots of stuff with that one. That one is really good. It's because it's number one. It's always one of those risky. Like you want to pick it up, but like if you don't like it, don't go to two.
yeah,
But as Kyle and I both said, we both agree that you pretty much give it at least 3 issues. If you can get a number 1, 2, and 3, that's your best bet. Otherwise, like there's a few exceptions, like Green Lantern when oh I forget his name, but when their big when the longest run for DC had ended, had like the double size comic.
oh,
Uh,
the double issue, yeah, yeah.
yeah, when that ended, the next set was like a whole new storyline of
And you
Green
followed
Lantern.
Green Lantern up
Oh, I'm still
fully on the
following
New
it.
52. It's great.
Yeah, I would say Green. Well, that's there's a lot of reasons for that, and I'll go into that in my own separate video sometime. But like that, there's a reason why Green Lantern like survived the New 52 with minimal like issues.
Yeah.
Um, Moving right along, Wonder Woman 41 comes out tomorrow, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the introduction of her new outfit as well as her new stance as the like God of War.
Yeah, after Convergence, some things have happened in the DC universe, but the main thing in this issue, for people who don't know, you should probably just pick up this issue
Yeah.
because it's her new outfit.
I was there, and as just as I was saying before, there are sometimes you can get away with getting the right issue that starts up a new arc,
Yep.
which lets you get into it. This is one of them.
Because Wonder Woman had just gotten a new artist and writer on Wonder Woman number 35,
Hmm.
so 6 issues leading up to Wonder Woman number 41, and now she's got her new outfit, and it looks like the start of a new arc. So Jeff, definitely check it out without giving too much
Yeah.
away. Yeah,
All I'm gonna say is that like I was surprised. A lot of times, all right, costumes are like the one thing you don't fuck with in comics. People like they were mad that they got rid of Superman's underwear, and
yeah,
I'm like, no, he looks way cooler now.
yeah. Some people are picky about, it, but I like this look a lot,
Yeah.
especially since I mean Wonder Woman is the female heroine. I mean, she was like the first of the female heroes, and a
Mhm.
lot of feminists and women and stuff look up to Wonder Woman in comics. And to see her not, looking, I guess,
Not
skanky
looking
or anything.
like a sex icon. And I
Exactly.
say it very loosely because I don't feel that she was intended to be that way. I
Never.
think that
I absolutely agree. Wonder
I
Woman's
yeah.
outfit is fine for her. I mean, she's an Amazon. She fights. That's how
Yeah,
it works. But I understand how people could take it as a sex object. So now she's, fully clothed and she still looks strong, powerful, and just fierce. All the qualities that Wonder Woman should have. So I'm excited.
yeah, I'm very excited for that. The next one going into is Runaways number one. This is going to the Battle World set once more, back on Marvel's side. Um, it it's really weird because this is not the usual Runaways. This is like a totally different group, including like I think Cloak and Dagger's in this group.
That makes sense to me.
Um, I'm trying to think of who else is in there, but like
This.
they're
Go ahead.
basically the people from Avengers Arena, which was, by the way, Avengers Arena is like my guilty pleasure series. That was it's basically battle royale with young superheroes. Um, Super guilty pleasure for me. Um, but there's a lot of like weird characters in this one, and I'm actually okay with that. I think it's really nice and refreshing that there's a new set of Runaways, considering that like the old Runaways now are adults, and they've like one of them's on the new Avengers team, like the A Force or whatever. Um, like it's pretty cool, I think.
Um, yeah, the interesting thing about Runaways is they've always had like a cult following. That series became extremely popular, and I was really surprised, not because it was bad or anything. I just didn't expect people to read it, and
Yeah,
it was lucky because it got that cult following, and for good reason. It's a really good story. It was just really impressive. I mean, it's a timeless story about teenagers with superpowers and just working together and
well, and they were teenagers who had a cool backstory. Their parents were all villains, and they
yep,
were like, "We don't want to be villains. We're good people." And they're like,
yeah, they're
"No."
heroes.
Yeah, and I do want to see what they do with this new team. I just found the list. It's I don't know who Molly Hayes is. I'm not gonna lie, but
Oh, Molly Hayes is actually my favorite character from the Runaways.
okay, cool. Oh, that's right. Oh man, punch me in the dick.
The cute
Um,
little cat ear hat.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but Jubilee's on the team. A young Bucky Barnes is on the team. Cloak and Dagger's one of them. Amadeus Cho, who Hercules, your little Asian boyfriend is back.
Well,
He,
they're
yeah,
they're really remaking the Runaways here.
and
So
Scar.
from Son of Hulk.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, no, that's cool. Okay, I didn't realize that. Like, okay, I didn't realize Amadeus Cho and Scar were on the team. That really rounds it out with like a Brainiac and a Meathead.
The
That
Brute.
that you know what it sounds like? Like that right there. I just read that and I stopped and went, "That's the next Avengers." Like that's the Avengers group all over again. Think about it.
I mean, oh
They're not
gosh.
gonna they're not gonna be Avengers because, like I said, they've already revealed who the Avengers are gonna be.
No. I mean, I could see it.
Yeah.
I don't
Good-
know.
no,
I'm very conflicted, obviously.
no, I know. But Runaways is going to be like just in general. Runaways is always a good comic.
Yeah, read it, support it,
Everything,
see
yeah,
what you think.
every single run. And then the final one is Secret Wars #4. I'm sorry if you're not reading Secret Wars, you should be reading Secret Wars. It's that good. Doctor Doom is the hero. There's the Thor core, and in general, Secret Wars is like the main crossover. Everything else is like sort of happening, but like the important stuff going on is in Secret Wars. Um, and like I said, I'm stoked for it. Like,
Yeah, Secret Wars is something when it comes out. It's had a few runs. Every time it comes out, you should read it.
yeah.
The original Secret Wars is actually where Spider-Man's symbiote suit was first introduced, and that's where Venom comes from. For those who
Yeah.
don't know. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, like this one's a lot different from the original Secret Wars because
absolutely,
this
but
combines
all
Battle
Secret
World.
Wars have
But
always been good.
yeah, well,
That's my
Secret Wars 2 is, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. That was
That's
the
my
thing.
point. It's never been disappointing.
So let's move on from comics to just a little bit of a topic here. So, in general, we've been noticing we sort of touched on it earlier on our fourth topic of the news. But there's some mad Kickstarters going through that people are like really like funding a they're funding a fuck ton. I mean, I'm sorry, you're seeing like 2.5 million for these games, and that's like guaranteed money basically. We've both donated. I'm sure plenty of our viewers and listeners have totally donated to these.
If you haven't, you probably should, because you probably like these games.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're getting at with this is that we've started to notice that there's this trend of companies not having faith in older franchises, in specific older ideals. It would be like Nintendo saying, Mario just doesn't work anymore, and I'm like, no,
Which,
Mario still,
yeah.
like, you might be able to make the case for Sonic not working anymore, but Mario, yeah, specifically Mario, like Mario's still the king, and he's in a genre that's considered the least popular.
Yeah, platformers.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's pretty insane when you think about it. But like, I can't believe we live in a world where somebody said, you know what, nobody wants Mega Man, and then like the 2.5 million, dollars that were like
Mighty
thrown
Number 9.
for Mighty Number 9. Somebody said we don't think people want another Castlevania that's 2D and exploration based, or
Symphony of the Night. One of the most influential games of all time.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sorry, Banjo-Kazooie, while I understand the logic on Microsoft's side for not going to forward with it, Microsoft should have paid somebody else to make Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie has a cult following, people.
Beyond, there are people who readily, and while I love Banjo-Kazooie, but I have a hard time saying that Banjo-Tooie is everything Mario 64 should have been if it had a sequel. I think that's pushing a little too much because I think they're similar genre, they're the same genre, different games, and it's unfair to compare Mario 64 and Banjo anything.
Yep.
But like they really seem to be like afraid of doing this. If you want to kind of go into like the more Sonic side of things, Freedom Planet was funded a while back, and Freedom Planet is oftentimes compared to Sonic. It's not really a Sonic clone, but it's got like loop-de-loops and speed-ups and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So naturally it's going to be compared to it. But it does feel very Sonic-like. And it makes you wonder, why do these companies think this when like they've been literally, people have been asking for these. Shenmue is now an even more perfect example. Like they basically, Sony said, oh yeah, Shenmue 3, it's on Kickstarter. And like
people rush to it.
Oh my, like I imagine them being like, fuck whatever else is coming on. It better not be Final Fantasy VII being remade. that would be terrible. Oh, I better go to Shenmue. Which goes into, like I said, like Final Fantasy VII being remastered, like that's like free money to Square Enix. So I mean but that's like a game that you can imagine going to Kickstarter. Like, oh,
But
people won't fund this.
look how long they took to do this. Like this Final Fantasy VII, for instance, is a perfect example. I don't necessarily care for it, but I
Yeah.
know a lot of people do.
Well,
Like
it's
I
not
get
like
it. Like
it's not like it's a bad game
no, I'm
because
not saying it
yeah,
is.
exactly.
I'm just getting to the point where the fans have been asking for it, like
Just do it.
so much so that I hear it and I see it all the time, and I don't really play Final Fantasy much, and I'm just like, well, why aren't you making it then if it's just free money? It literally
Yeah.
will print you money. I don't understand.
Why do we have two sequels to Final Fantasy 13?
And not
What?
remade Final Fantasy VII when
Yeah.
people are asking for it. Like
Yeah.
that's just business. I mean, you
Yeah.
ask for something, they make it, you pay for it.
Yeah.
And there's obviously demand for it, and that just confuses me. But they're doing it now, so it looks like Square Enix finally is getting what we're getting at, where spiritual successors.
Or
I,
in general, just like the next level of the series, like
right,
Mega Man
because
12 or whatever.
Bloodstained is Iga, as he's affectionately called by his fans, and
Yeah.
he made Symphony of the Night. He directed it, and now he's directing a spiritual successor of that because Konami was like, "No, people aren't gonna want that," and it's like, well, obviously they do.
Yeah, I mean, like, and it's one of those things where I have to question the companies who are behind these games, their original like creators and everything, and why they thought that this wasn't a smart idea. Like, I don't understand. Like, I get Konami in the sense of that Konami said our goals are basically mobile platforms, and I get that. Basically, they're saying Castlevania doesn't fit into our future, which makes no sense because I'm sorry, you've got Contra. You've got Castlevania. You've literally molested fucking Metal Gear Solid 5 to me. That game like can't fail. It's so awesome looking. And
It's gorgeous.
yeah, I mean like everything about that game looks like perfect
Yeah, I already
almost.
have the collectors like
Yeah.
bought and everything.
Yeah, and it's one of the things where I'm like that blows my mind that Konami's like, no, mobile gaming is where it's at. As I'm sitting here going, you have a game that's going to make you like 2.5 million. What the fuck? You literally could have had like basically out of that 5.5 million, like those were 5.5 million dollars spent to buy the game.
Yeah.
That's not unless the game cost 5.5 million to make, which it didn't. I'm telling you, it probably cost maybe a mil.
Yeah.
Like
It confuses me.
yeah, I think that part of it is because a lot of these companies are looking at what they believe is the future. It's kind of I touch on it a little bit with some videos I've been working on of how like VR is being pushed hard. Um, and I've got nothing against VR. I think it's a really cool concept. But I also thought the Kinect was a cool concept. I thought motion control was a cool concept. I thought that steering wheels for racing games is a cool concept. Rob is a cool concept. You kind of get what I'm getting at here. Is that everything that leads up to this are like really cool and nifty, but why the fuck would I use that? Like, when am I ever going to pull out my Nintendo Zapper to play a game? Like outside of Duck Hunt, name like 5 games where you're like, yeah, that will totally sell 1 million copies right now. I can't name them. That's
Duck
just
Hunt.
oh yeah. I said that's why I said name
I
5 games.
know.
But like, but I mean, I'm sitting here and like, I'm imagining these companies sitting there going, I can't imagine people wanting to buy Castlevania. I mean, that game is so old. And I'm like, all right, look, the guys who were playing Castlevania were in like their teens, like their early like tens, like in between 8 and like we'll say 17, right?
Sure.
That means that now they're in like their mid 20s, 30s.
Yeah.
That means all they want in life is to have the things they used to have, only better.
They want nostalgia.
And now they've got disposable income. Even if we're in like a recession, we still want to throw money at stupid shit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I threw. God, I don't want to talk about ukulele.
I mean, it's something you're supporting. Like I said, the Kickstarters. So,
I don't want to mention how much I've spent on Mighty Number
so
Nine.
go out and support our series.
Exactly. If there is something that you like, find the guy who's creating it and see if he's got any plans to go take the next level of getting it funded.
Because
Especially,
guys,
yeah,
Mega Man is coming back.
yeah.
Castlevania is coming back.
Banjo.
Banjo-Kazooie is coming back.
Oh my god, like
Shenmue is here,
Shenmue.
and that's literally the actual game. Like that's not a spiritual successor.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the game
Shenmue
on
3.
Kickstarter,
Yeah,
people.
Shenmue 3. And it makes me, I'm just like, wow, they did it. Like
Yeah.
somebody,
So
yeah.
don't let the companies tell us that these are not games that the people want when it's clearly what we want. So,
Yeah.
and it looks like Square Enix, followed suit and learned because the Kickstarters are talking and they're speaking
Mhm.
people.
Yeah,
So
and as much as I have my own personal complaints about early access and Kickstarter funding and all of that, the fact of the matter is that when it works, it works. And I mean, like we were saying, this is free money to these companies, and they're just not even considering us as like clients. It's almost as if our money isn't good enough for them, so they need to go elsewhere.
yeah, so if you're thinking about buying some DLC for a game or something, think about throwing it towards a Kickstarter instead or
Yeah,
something.
even if the Kickstarter's over, go find the Kickstarter, find their website. I guarantee you they have
A
a
lot of the
PayPal
time they'll
option.
have a
Yeah.
PayPal and donate and
I
yeah.
mean, you may not be able to get all the cool shit, but you'll at least be able to get the game, which is, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the important part.
Absolutely.
I mean, besides supporting them, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
of
saying
course.
like for us as consumers, we want the video game.
Yeah.
So, moving along from video games back over to the comic world, there's a lot of stuff going on for TV right now when it
Well, we're
comes to
talking about
Marvel and
comic
DC.
TV.
Yeah,
Um,
specifically.
Daredevil
Um,
confirmed for season 2.
oh my God, just
If you haven't seen that show, I'm not gonna lie. You guys are gonna think I'm a little weird or crazy. I didn't have Netflix. I still had to join the world of Netflix. Everyone's like, Kyle, you gotta get Netflix, and I'm like, I don't really watch much TV. I watch Game of Thrones, and that's on HBO, and
yeah, I
I
mean,
don't have
and
to
you can
worry
get
about that.
and you can get HBO Go or something
Right,
like
exactly.
when
So
it's
I
on.
really
Yeah.
didn't need a reason, but then Daredevil came,
Yeah.
and I like Daredevil a lot. I'm a big Daredevil fan, and I had my doubts. I saw the trailer.
And,
Everyone's
and
like,
and who they casted was kind of like,
"Oh
well,
no, 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 I'm getting to that." So
okay.
everyone's like, Kyle, look at this trailer. You like Daredevil? Look at this trailer. And I went, "That's just gonna be Marvel's Arrow. I don't care about this. I don't want to see this." But then I watched.
Daredevil comes out in a green suit. I'm Oliver King.
You failed Hell's Kitchen. No, so
Yeah.
I go and I watch episode 1 at a friend's house on Netflix because it was early morning. I turned on Netflix and I saw Daredevil. I was like, all right, I'll give it a watch. Wow. Um.
Oh, that's
Wow.
I
They followed the Man Without Fear Frank Miller storyline, not all completely, but inspired by. So he has his black suit. He learned from
mm,
Stick. I mean, the casting has been spot on. There's very little I can complain about for this show. This has me psyched for comic TV. I was not a believer because I do not
yeah.
like The Flash. I do not like Arrow. I don't care for them. They feel too drama esque to me. But Daredevil gets the drama, it gets the crime side because he's a lawyer, and the action, like those feel like real fights to me.
Yeah. And because it's on Netflix, it was a lot darker and I
They
liked that.
got to do the MA rating and the blood and all of that. And Daredevil's a gritty street hero. I mean, I
Yeah.
love about street heroes in comics because those are the tend to be the people I follow. And so now that the Defenders is coming with Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, woo, like
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
and I'm really psyched because the fact that it's getting a second season is a huge deal. In TV, you have to understand that getting a second season is basically that like them saying, "Hey, you did it! Now we're gonna milk you for all your work."
Yeah,
Like,
you've
yeah,
got a fan base.
if you can get the first season done, you've got it. I mean, you can't fuck up the first 2 episodes of the second season. That's really all it takes.
Yep.
Like, I mean, everybody's complaining about Game of Thrones and how its like most recent season ending is really like, but I mean, it's not like they're gonna stop watching it. Like they're hooked
Yeah,
already.
a lot of people weren't a fan of this season, but
Lost sucked ass after the first 2 seasons, and we watched it the whole way through.
yeah, like let's not lie.
Yeah, like I mean, like I did not really care for Lost starting season 3.
Yep.
But going back to comics, Daredevil getting season 2 also opens up a lot of other things because Ghost Rider, Blade, and the Punisher are back with Marvel Studios, they've all but like confirmed that Punisher is going to be in Daredevil.
Oh, Punisher is confirmed.
Oh, so he is
Season
confirmed.
two
Okay,
Daredevil, absolutely
there.
confirmed. The
Mm,
actor
mwah.
of
I
Walking Dead who played Shane is gonna be Punisher.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about this, and
Yeah,
I was so like, really? Shane's gonna be Punisher?
yeah, I found
All
that a
right,
little odd
Coral.
too, but because I was so impressed with the casting of season one. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna hold off on my comments because I said it was gonna be Marvel's era and it wasn't. So I'm just gonna let it go and I'm
I,
gonna see what he can do as Punisher because I like Frank Castle a lot. I mean, I like
yeah.
Punisher, and this is my street level stuff that I'm getting at. And Daredevil and Punisher have been at each other's throats multiple times. They've even worked together multiple
Yeah.
times.
And in
And
fact, actually, in Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe, that's a huge storyline aspect, if I'm not
yep,
mistaken,
uh,
because like they're bros, like they're homies.
yeah, I don't think they're gonna go into that. It'd be
No,
more
no, no.
Punisher's going to be killing people and Daredevil is not going to be okay with it like most of the storylines, I'm sure.
Well, because they won't be able to like. I'm sure he'll get like Punisher will get caught, but then like we'll get away on some sort of catch-22 or like
What I
escape.
what I
And
truly foresee coming as far as the storyline goes is Daredevil's going to be helping someone with the case and he's going to get out because he's with the mob or whatever, and then Punisher's going to snipe the guy or something, and Daredevil's going to be
mm,
like he needed to stand trial and stuff because this is what justice is, and Punisher's like I don't give a damn, I have
I
my
am
own
just I am
he
justice.
he even knows he's not justice. He just doesn't care. That's what's so great
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Punisher. He doesn't. It's not like he's like trying to justify. He's like, no, I'm a piece of shit, guys. Like I don't
yeah.
care. Like
So, moving along though, Power Man, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist are both getting their own series as well. I forget who the third person is. It's Jessica something. It's the girl who.
You're talking about Misty Knight?
No, no, I don't think so. I forget her name, but I think she's the one who ends up marrying Luke Cage.
Huh.
I
Okay.
for yeah. Um,
I
I
haven't
I just
seen
forget
who
her
the
name
third
is.
person is. Uh,
But
well,
we know who's going to be Luke Cage and Iron Fist. But do we think that they're going to like show up in each other's series? Are they going to like cross over at any point?
we have to do Heroes for Hire, and
Yeah, right.
yeah, and I mean we're the Geeks for Hire. This is the play on words.
Yeah,
Um, not only Heroes for Hire is definitely having to come, and also since Daredevil has his own show, the Defenders definitely has to happen
yeah.
because Iron Fist, Power Man,
Which
and
also leads me into Spider-Man because I really want to see if they put Spider-Man into any of
I
the.
mean
I mean, he's supposed.
Daredevil.
Yeah,
Daredevil and Spider-Man are actually really close, and they both know each other's secret identities. So I'd be completely down for having that. I mean, Daredevil's in Hell's Kitchen, and Spider-Man's in Queens. I mean, they see each other
yeah.
consistently, and
They're neighbors.
that's what the Marvel Universe does. I mean, these characters interact with each other so consistently in the
Hmm.
comics. It's a world. I mean,
Yeah.
they have created a world, and these characters are in it, and they interact, and the TV needs to show that.
Well,
You
and,
know,
and that's what I really liked about Agents of Shield because Agents of Shield filled in a lot of these weird blanks that people had about like Age of Ultron. Say what you will about like the quality of the movie or anything like that. Like one of the things that a lot of people were like, "Huh?" about was there's a lot of like moments with Shield involvement, and they're like, "When the fuck did that happen?" I'm like, "Oh, that happened on episode 8 of Agents of Shield when
right?
blah blah blah." Yeah, like.
In fact, even with Avengers 2 release, they had mentioned something that was just mentioned in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that my
Hmm.
friend Marshall had told me that I was sitting next to. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm actually
Yeah.
not a fan of it.
Yeah, well, Agents of Shield is one of those things where if you're not into Marvel superheroes, you probably will like it. If you're into Marvel superheroes, if you are watching it, part of you is watching it because you
You want
kind
to know
of
what's
want
going on.
exactly, and that's where I'm at. I don't hate the series at all, but it's not a priority. I wait till
And
seasons are over and
I just
rush
let
it.
people fill me in by doing things like this, like listening to people's podcasts and just reading
Yeah.
headlines. Just like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
well, what happened?
Yeah. I would say the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So moving along from Marvel to DC because DC has their own set. Now I know you're not a big fan of Green Arrow or Flash, but I'm sure you've
I
heard
liked
of.
the early Arrow, but I'm not a fan of Flash, and I'm not a fan of later Arrow now. So it's
Well,
just too
all
drama-y
right.
for
So
me.
so I have a super soft spot for Flash. I thought Flash was very well done, and it gets better over time. I think that mid-season it really picks up really well. I think that they rushed certain things because of this crossover, the Legends of Tomorrow. But I like what Legends of Tomorrow is doing because it's doing exactly what Avengers did on a much, much, much smaller scale. Um, where you're basically combining a bunch of people together to save the greater good. And it's Flash, Arrow, Black Canary, who's there's a weird storyline with her where she's been turned, she died, got put into a Lazarus pit, and now she's the White Canary. Um, Captain Cold, Firestorm, and Atom. And there's one other guy, but he's the guy from the future. Um, I don't know if that like interests you at all, but like that sounds pretty cool to me. I'm actually kind of like Okay.
I'll give it a watch. I mean, I have nothing against Stephen Amell as the Green Arrow or anything like that. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
I would say.
I think he's a spectacular person. Like, I follow him on Facebook, and what he does
Yeah.
for cancer and everything with
Yeah.
donations and everything. Like, I completely support him. It's just I'm really not a fan of, like I said, the drama and the acting and stuff. But I know people who like the show. I'm not opposed to you guys liking the show. I don't want you to think that
No,
I'm
no.
saying that. I'm just not a fan of the show. I like Daredevil. So
Yeah.
people who like Daredevil, come watch it with me. I'll talk about that and stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, Josh can fill you in on Arrow and Flash because I'm not really gonna touch it. I like Batman and stuff.
Yeah, I would
I
say
mean,
like
like with Gotham and stuff too. I
oh,
mean,
I don't like like
okay. See, this is a whole nother
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I would say Gotham is there's nothing wrong with Gotham, but Gotham's not necessarily good. So, moving on, there's a lot of talk about Supergirl, which a while back they had the leak of the whole first episode or the pilot,
Yeah, the
um,
pilot got
and
leaked.
and people were hating it, and I watched it, and I'm not gonna lie, it was super campy, and I fully expected to bomb, but I didn't hate it. It was just really weird. I, mm.
Um, yeah, it was campy. It's the new Smallville. Supergirl is gonna suck.
Yeah, like it's one thing where I'm like, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like hyped for it. Like at least Legends of Tomorrow gave me like, oh man, this looks really cool. Supergirl, I was kind of really like, ah. To be honest, I'm way more excited about the Teen Titans series that they've been talking about.
Well, I thought that was a weird channel that they chose to do Teen Titans on, was TNT.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
yeah, I'm like, I mean, did you guys run out of channels?
Well,
You
the
couldn't,
CW, like I said, is all about the drama with Arrow and
and
Flash. So now that they're doing Teen Titans on TNT, I'm a little
I'm kind of
happier, I guess.
I'm kind of hoping that it's more action packed, like it's more ass kicking.
Well, they're also going to just be starting with Nightwing straight off. Like Robin, Dick Grayson isn't going to be Robin in this, and so
Yeah,
it's probably going to be more gritty and whatever
which
DC's doing. Because with Superman, Batman, Zack Snyder's making everything gritty in the DC universe now, and there's
yeah.
no campiness really to it. So maybe Supergirl is that campy saving
Well,
grace, but I don't think it's going
and
to
I'm
be it.
kind of hoping Suicide Squad ends up being like dark humor.
Suicide Squad's exactly going to be dark humor.
Like I want to see like a scene where like Harley Quinn jumps into Deadshot's arms. She is, oh, you're so strong.
And you have
Looks at
Will
like
Smith as
Joker,
Deadshot.
and then have him like just drop her, and she's like, oh, I like it rough, or like something stupid like that.
You're probably going to get something stupid like that.
But see, I want that, and I hope that it's like it's campy in a good way. Like I'm laughing while like, oh damn, they just blew his brains off, ha ha ha. Like Joker like plays with his mouth. Oh no, it seems I've lost my head.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
Batfleck's supposed to jump in for it for a bit, so we'll
you,
see.
you can't just call him Batman.
I mean, I like him, so we'll see.
Okay.
That's a whole other thing to talk about, though.
Um, finishing back up with Ghost Rider, Blade, and Punisher. Do you think anybody besides Punisher will show up in there? Do you think that we'll get some ghost riding?
No, I don't want Nicolas Cage.
I want Nicolas Cage in there. I want him to be like, you really thought they could get rid of me?
No. Nicolas Cage is gonna stay so far away from Ghost Rider. Wesley Snipes with Blade, they're synonymous.
I'm like,
I like it.
Isn't he still in jail?
I don't know where he
For-
is right now, to be honest,
For
but I
tax
totally like Blade. I love it.
Yeah,
Out of all the horrible like '90s superhero movies, I actually really liked Blade
yeah,
a lot. The third one was really fell off. The second one wasn't as good as the first, but the first Blade is actually really good.
yeah. I agree. Like it was one of the things where I think that Blade gets a bad rep, but Blade wasn't bad at all by any means.
Okay, yeah.
So, we're getting to sort of this is our free space area. This is normally where we would be taking comments. We'd be looking at things, answering questions, and any sort of like going over topics that you guys brought up. Since this is the first episode, we haven't had that chance. On our Facebook, which we'll have a link for down below in the description. If you want to actually go there, we'll have a status posted after this video gets posted up. Or if you want to leave a comment here on the channel, that would be exactly where we want to hear it from you guys. If there's something that you guys really want to hear of, if there's something that you were really upset about, like, Kyle, how can you not like the drama of Green Arrow?
Oh,
It's right up
jeez.
your alleyway.
I
Like,
knew that's exactly what you were gonna mention.
I'm teasing though, because I mean, I totally get that. All right, Green Arrow is super drama filled. Flash is like honestly Smallville but not lame. That's like it's like early Smallville right now still.
Yeah, I can
And
see that.
and I'm sorry, they had a much cooler villain from the get go. Like Lex Luthor sucked in Smallville. Professor Zoom was pretty fucking cool in Flash.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm just saying the way they did it. I know
sure,
you
I
didn't get far
understand.
enough. Yeah, and it's not your cup of tea. I'll put it this way: they basically said both ends of the spectrum, and you're like, I don't like either of these, and
I don't.
they're like, you can't have chocolate vanilla swirl, and you're like, I don't want that either. I want mint, and they're like,
Yeah, but I got Daredevil, so
yeah,
I'm good. I'm
exactly,
fine, guys. Like,
yeah.
I'm really not upset at all.
But so we would like to hear from you guys. Any of your comments, posts, tweets, all of it. Just whatever
Yeah.
it is, we'll compile as much as we can and go from there. But outside that, the very end of all of our shows are going to end with about a 2 minute stretch where Kyle and I will just talk about one topic, or if we can fit in two, I guess, in 2 minutes. Just whatever it is we want to talk about. Kyle, this is the inaugural show. I'm going to let you go first. So whenever you are ready, feel free to begin.
All right. I'll start off with touching on Christopher Lee one more time. Um, everything I said before, I just wanted to show my respects one more time. And there's really never going to be another Sir Christopher Lee. And thank you for everything you've done. Um, Ghost Rider coming to Marvel side again, knowing Nicolas Cage is not going to go anywhere near that is extremely exciting for me. That is a great property that they have. I'm not a fan of the new series though, but I'd love to see a TV show. I was really a big fan of Constantine, even though it didn't last longer than one season. Unfortunately, Matt Ryan did a great job as Constantine. I'm very upset. I think most people just wanted another Supernatural clone, and Supernatural has fallen off for me so hard. It's not a good show. The writing is not entertaining. It is just not a good show. Yeah, more hate. Come at me. Um, so just Ghost Rider. I hope it gets a show, and if they do, I hope they do a Midnight Suns with Blade. I mean, I would totally be down for that. I would love that. And then Punisher back at Marvel, knowing he's being used again. He had a few good movies. I liked the Thomas Jane one a lot. There was one in the 80s with like Dolph Lundgren. I didn't really care for that one. Obviously, it's just aged. Um, and then Warzone, I actually was a big fan of. So let's see more Punisher. Let's see more of these street level guys, and I'll leave it at that.
Nice. So anything else you want to add? You have like another 30 seconds.
Oh, last 30 seconds is throw Moon Knight in there.
Oh, yeah, you got it. You got to do the Moon Knight video. You've been hyping that one for me,
Yeah,
and
I probably should do one.
I went back and read the comics. I do want to hear your thing on Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon
I know
Knight's
I know
fantastic.
you have Ghost Rider in the pipeline, the Ghost Riders, but
I do.
so
An Origin of Ghost Riders. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that, and it is in the pipeline as you said. So
yeah. So with that then, I'll go ahead and start. I want to give my condolences to both Lee's family and the Rhodes. Once again, both great men. Christopher Lee, like flat out the one of the most badass people ever, and one of the most influential in any sort of circle. Dusty Rhodes, you were the American Dream, man. Like I, not much more I can say. Um, I'm really excited for all the things going on. E3 looked awesome this year. Comics are looking awesome. Whether you like or don't like the storylines going on, the fact is that now is like the perfect time to get into comics. We've got all these new happenings, and even if you like miss like this next like 2 months worth, the like all the brand new big series are picking up or starting up right around like that point. So you have time to like catch up and everything. Um, TV is better than ever. I mean, you've got options, even if they're options that like Kyle and I may not prefer. You've got lots of options. My dad loves Daredevil and my mom loves Gotham, and neither of them are big superhero buffs. That's cool to me. They understand why I like this stuff. Uh, Outside of that, just overall shout out to all of the developers who are working with Kickstarter to make the games that they truly believe are the ones that people want. Um, I'm sorry, we live in a day and age where we can finally request something, and if they're willing to put the work for it, hell yeah, it's gonna come, and I'm ecstatic to hear about that. So I'll end it with that. I have a few things in the pipeline for video game related content, and I got a comic book thing or two there. But like I'm a little bit more hush hush on mine. I'm really excited about Ghost Rider though. You have no idea. Like I'm really excited about your Ghost Rider video.
yeah, people need to know.
Yeah, I was like, well, Ghost Rider's a very cool character and doesn't get enough love, and that's why I'm like,
He's
oh,
literally one of my favorite characters of all time. Like out of top
yeah,
5 superheroes, Ghost Rider is definitely on that list, no doubt.
yeah. I mean, I can talk about all like the goofy gooberish stuff about Ghost Rider, but Ghost Rider is a cool character.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So, with that being said, we're gonna cut this podcast to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and like the video. If you want to see more, we have other videos up on the channel. There's a really nice Arkham Knight video on there. We should have some E3 uh, revelations from this point. Um, like I said, lots of stuff coming up soon as well. So if you want to see more from us, feel free to subscribe. If you liked the video, like it. If you didn't, tell us no. Um, Follow us on Facebook. I know that I've got a Twitter, which will be down there. I don't know if Kyle, you have a Twitter.
By the time this video is
Oh,
done, it'll
yeah,
be up.
but like I said, big shout out though. We want to make sure that you guys get your voice heard. We want that free space to be filled with your questions. We want to pick at least 5 if we can get that, possibly more.
Yeah, I'd totally be down for that.
And so if we get more than we expect, we'll probably just make a whole separate video for it. So with that being said, I'm Josh.
And I'm Kyle.
And this is Geeks for Hire. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.